Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Everything that's wonderful is what I feel when.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to cordially welcome you to this session of the Train of Positivity Virtual Summit. My name is Matthew Makovich alongside Phil Januszewski, and we are super excited today to introduce you to our very dear friend, Mr. Pat Marchand. Pat, number one, thank you for being here. Number two, thank you for sharing your message. But number three, Pat, who are you? What is your story? And why are you here today?
Hey, well, thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Pat Marchand, as I said. I'm from Metamora, Illinois, which is about 2.5, 3 hours south of Chicago. I'm married. I have a lovely wife, Holly, and a couple kids. Anna is going into 6th grade, and Ryan is going into 3rd grade. 4th grade, excuse me. My message I want to share with you guys is it's never too late to implement positive change in your life. 13 months ago, I decided to make a life-changing decision in my life. I decided to go and have gastric bypass surgery. I was weighing in at 369 pounds. And I knew that, if I kept up this lifestyle of the bad eating habits and no exercise and all that stuff, that I wouldn't be around for my children in years to come. So I wanted to make that change, and I just decided to take the plunge. I know it was something drastic, but other diets and things that I've tried throughout the years, I've just failed on, cheated miserably, and I needed to do something that was going to make me do it. So I decided to do that route, and I haven't looked back since.
This transformation has been insane from the outside looking in. But first of all, before we get into all of that, I guess one of the main question is, what exactly made you choose this route that you chose? You chose gastric bypass. You mentioned that you did some other tries and diets and that didn't work out. What exactly took you down this path?
Actually, the truth be told, there is my cousin had the same surgery about 6 years ago, and I saw the success that he gained from that. I met with the surgeon and stuff. You have to go through classes for about 6 months before you have the surgery, and they kind of help you develop what type of surgery you would have. The surgeon and I, through chatting in our discussions, that we decided that this would be the best route for me to keep the weight off, actually, lay it longer in life and, have it come back in a few years. Some people struggle with.
But I know that we kind of spoke earlier, and you mentioned that some people question such a drastic decision in that. Could you maybe talk a little bit about why was that right for you?
It's a lot of people did question, even family members and stuff were really concerned about when I chose this route, but because it's major surgery that you have to go through, and it's obviously changing your whole insides of your body for the most part. And they were really concerned that I was jumping the gun and kind of not thinking it all the way through. But in my mind, like I said, I've failed on the diets before, and I've just needed something that was going to make me do it. And, with the rerouting of the stomach and everything like that, obviously, if I cheat, I'm going to get sick. Then I had other people that were saying, this is the easy way out, because taking surgery, I'm like, there's nothing easy about this route. You still have to change your lifestyle. You still have to change all your eating habits and everything like that, and to be successful.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Thanks, Pat. I was hoping you would say that. What we've seen you change, in a 10-month span when we saw you later in that, we had no idea the amount of work and the learning and education you went through to get there. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I don't think there was anything easy about that, even though for Matt and I, when we saw the change, it was, oh my goodness, but you've been working hard for a long time. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
And now, Pat, with this major transition that you've made, obviously the surgery was difficult in itself. We could only imagine. But when it came to kind of rerouting your daily habits, your exercise routines, your diets, what has been the most difficult part of this transition for you?
When I first started out, the eating habits were the toughest thing. I missed my big vices before were pizza and soda, eating late at night and things like that. But it's just, like I said, when I first started out, missing those things were the toughest things. But as time went on, it got easier and easier. And now it's like I can cook a pizza for the family, and I'm perfectly fine with not having any myself. Probably the biggest struggle was just getting in the right mindset where I needed to be. And that took probably about maybe 3 or 4 months before I actually decided, this is the way my life is going to be now. If I want to be around for years to come and make those better choices, it got easier and easier. And it kind of gets easier every day, but there's still days that I miss those things.
And I know that you did mention exercise, Pat. Has there been one avenue of exercise that you would say that you prefer over others, or one that kind of stood out as something that you've really embraced throughout this change?
When I first started my journey, I couldn't really do much because I couldn't lift or anything like that after the surgery. So they recommended like a lot of water exercise stuff. So I went to a local gym around here that has a pool, and I joined this exercise class with I was the only male in the class, and I was the only male in the class that was under 55 years old or whatever. All the elderly women were in their class with me, and I got to know them a little bit and kind of the banter back and forth with them and get to be excited to go to class. It was like 3 days a week, I think. And then from there, I went to riding a bike 6 or 8 miles a day. I transitioned over into running a little bit, and I run and walk a lot now.
It's amazing to see the progression. You started with the water exercise and worked your way up. I know that you and I have talked a little bit about you've ran a couple 5Ks now, and actually when people watch this video, you'll have completed another one, our Illinois State University Reggie Redbird 5K.
You betcha.
So how's that been going with the running in that? Is that something you're enjoying?
It started out kind of forcing myself to do. A friend of mine that lives in the neighborhood, she signed up for this virtual 5K group, kind of a couch to 5K. My wife's been on me for a while to do a 5K, and I told her someday I would do one. And every time she'd bring it up, I'm like, well, it's not really someday yet. So we'll see what happens. Then I saw my neighbor that I went to school with, like I said, she signed up for a couch to 5K group. And I'm like, you know what, let's just try it. And it was like, you run the first week, you run 30 seconds, then you walk a minute, and they just build you up throughout the 10-week process. And probably about 6 weeks in, I'm like, you know what, I don't know if I want to do it. My hip was kind of bothering me, and like, well, whatever. I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm just going to keep walking and things like that. And then a week went by, and I'm like, I should do this. I committed. I want to do this. I want to finish it and see it through. And probably another couple of weeks of running there. I think 8 weeks in, I decided, I'm going to try to run and see how far I can go. And I ran the whole stinking thing. You know what? I'm just going to keep this up. I'm not going to go back and run there 20 minutes and walk and stuff. I'm just going to keep running and doing the 3.1. And a friend of mine was having on the 4th of July, they were having a 5K. I'm like, man, I'm tired of doing these virtual ones. So I want to actually go and run with people. So they had a group of about 40 people there, and I came in probably about halfway through the pack. So I'm like, I'm pretty happy with that.
How did it feel finishing that first 5K?
It was good finishing. I'd say about it's a funny little story. About 2.5 miles in, I started dry heaving a little bit. I'm like, it's so hot and it's miserable. Why am I doing this? I'm like, I could just walk a little bit, but I'm like, no, I want to finish. And it felt good crossing the finish line.
I love what you're saying. Like now mentally I can do 5Ks. Now mentally I can cook for my family and withhold from that specific food because that's not what I'm living like right now. Before we started recording, you mentioned about, I'm going to decide, am I going to trim up and drop more weight or not? I think what we keep hearing is that you have a lot of control now in your life and confidence. And I think that's an incredible feeling. You must feel so empowered now. Like, yes, I can set goals. I can do that. I'm in control. So with that, I think that led you to meet your goal weight, as you said. But what now? Now you've met your goal weight. What is it from here? What's some of your goals or ideas?
The biggest goal I have is not to fall back into the trap of turning to food and, lack of exercise and stuff. I can go out if I get stressed. Instead of eating, I can go out and run, or I can walk, do positive things in my life there. And to maintain, kind of where I want to go from here is just obviously maintain. And then I want to, I've actually looked into skin removal, surgery as well, some plastic surgery there. And I met with the plastic surgeon about a week ago now. So we're kind of transitioning into that. If that's something I want to do, to get me the tummy tuck and get rid of the extra baggage that I got down in my belly. So that's kind of where I'm at. Far future, who knows? I mean, I don't know where life's going to take me, but I'm ready to go with it.
We're so happy for you. We are so proud of you. And we could just tell that you're in such a great place, not only physically, but mentally. All the right motivation is there. And Pat, if we could use this moment, if you could connect with somebody who might be watching this, who might have internal struggles when dealing with their weight or weight loss and just being in the right frame of mind, what type of advice would you give them?
I mean, I just say never give up. Before I had all this surgery and stuff, I thought, you know what? This is just the way my life's going to be. I'm going to be the quote fat guy in the group, and you don't have to be. You can. It's never too late. I'm 48 years old, and I made that change this late in life. The regret I have is I wish I could have done it sooner, but then I wouldn't have maybe been ready, because before I wasn't ready to do the surgery, and I had to be ready inside to take that jump and stuff. That's why I think I failed on all those diets before. But there's hope for you no matter what your situation is. If I can do it, I'm living proof anybody can do it.
We can't thank you enough for sharing your story, and that as we've been saying on media, and that you have a heart of gold. We met you through the Metamora Operation Snowball. You give so much to others, and we're so excited and happy for you and proud of you that you did something so wonderful for yourself.
Thanks a lot, Patrick. All right. Woo!
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us for the Train of Positivity Virtual Summit. We hope you choose to have a great day. Please be sure to check out other positive influencers throughout the summit. And if you enjoyed this specific talk, feel free to like and subscribe and share with other positive humans through your favorite social media outlets using the hashtag #TrainOfPositivity.